Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the cryptocurrency market today as Bitcoin is fighting to stay above this 50-day moving average. And you can see we have this new weekly open, which Bitcoin is fighting to stay above. And we look at this volume, we have ascending sell pressure here with some sell pressure coming in here on the 18th of April. And I also want to talk about something that's extremely interesting when we look at Bitcoin against another hard asset like gold. What you'll notice here is if we go to the 2017 bottom and we look at the first time that gold tested the 50-day moving average against Bitcoin, notice how that occurred here on January 16th, 2018, after we had already topped out with Bitcoin. And interestingly enough, if we take this chart and invert it, what you'll notice here is that was the top, and then we came back down below this 50-day moving average, and this is on an inverted chart. And you can see what's happening right now with the gold against Bitcoin price as we are testing this 50-day moving average quite similarly to how we tested the 50-day moving average and broke down below it. And so the real thesis here is Bitcoin going to break this 50-day moving average against gold? Because that was an indicator of a top in the 2017 bull rally. And so I just want to throw that out there. I'm not trying to predict the top. One of the hardest things you can do is predict the top, but this is a puzzle piece on the table, and it is a very interesting puzzle piece that is on the table. And you guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Alabadi. If you appreciate this content, remember to smash the like button. Let's just dive straight into what's happening to Bitcoin first and foremost. Notice here how this 50-day moving average is acting as an important level. You can see Bitcoin's body of the candle closed right at that 50-day moving average, where we now have the weekly open at 56,200 US dollars, and currently the body of the candle is right below the 50-day moving average, but we do have 2 hours left to see where this is going to close. You can see we don't have quite as much volume today, but we did have quite a lot of sell pressure yesterday, which resulted in this candle, which you can see here. If we were to look at the top to bottom of this candle, is 16% red candle with this massive wick. We could say that this is a bullish wick. However, we have to realize that the 50-day moving average is also extremely important. And so the print's extremely clear for me, at least. When we look at what's happening, we know the monthly open is sitting around this very important area, 58,300. And you all saw what happened on Sunday, where we see the most amount of manipulation in this market. We obviously can tell that this is an important level at 58,300, because you can see how this candle came straight down, which meant that whoever wanted to put in this large sell order knew that if price action came even close to 58,300, that there would be more sell orders coming in. And so they took the early route of taking pretty much a position in which you can see how much liquidity came in on that the sell pressure. So it was a fairly large order is what we're looking at here, and it was right at that $58,300 level. So that obviously is an important level. So it's pretty clear to me, at least, what I'm looking for right now when it comes to Bitcoin's price action. I'd like to see candles come up to test 58,300, and that's going to be 4-hour and hourly candles. We may flirt with the level like we have in the past here, and we may start to see wicks, but you can see none of these wicks surpassed the previous weekly open of 59,900, which is 60,000. And so if Bitcoin is not able to get to 58,300, or we are struggling to get to 58,300, and especially if Bitcoin is below 56,200 where the weekly open is, and that's showing confluence with the 50-day moving average, then I think that could indicate hints that Bitcoin does have further downside to go. And then we have this 100-day moving average sitting right around this important level of 49,700. So that would be the first downside target. But for now, just realize that this $58,300 level is still extremely important, in my opinion. I'd like for us to come to test that. That would be garden variety market behavior to test this major level. And the reason it's a major level, just to remind you, and we'll go into an analysis on Ethereum and look at some altcoins, is you can see on the weekly chart that 58,300 was the high here where we initially topped out, and that is the candle high. And so if we are below 58,300, we have the full body of this candle as open ground for Bitcoin's price action. But if we get above 58,300, then we have all of this for Bitcoin to really see some price action in this space. And so there's really just two sections here. There's section 1 and section 2. And if we're not above 58,300, then we're playing around in section 2, and that's obviously not a fun game, as you guys saw on Sunday. And so we want to get above 58,300 to play around in section 1 if we want to assume further downside. And then we do have that puzzle piece on the table about the gold to Bitcoin chart that I just wanted to throw out there, and it's a very similar formation when we see the silver to Bitcoin chart as well, where we're coming up to test this 50-day moving average right now. Gold has already touched the 50-day moving average for the first time since we broke the 2017 bottom. And so that's just some food for thought. And then when we look at what's happening to Ethereum, notice how we are seeing more strength than Bitcoin, and you can notice how we're above the previous weekly open, which is showing that it is an important level because the candle low today was actually right at that weekly open. You can see 2080, and our level here on the charts 2075, and so it was actually even a little bit of a bullish push back to the upside. This looks like it reached the destination. It wanted to retest the channel support, an important level, the previous weekly open. And so for Ethereum right now, we want to get above the $2,200 and $2,300 level, which is right around that weekly open, to assume that we'll come up to retest the higher levels. And then when we look at what's happening to Ethereum, the Bitcoin chart, we are maintaining this major channel support. So that is a positive thing. If we come up to start to test 41,000 Satoshis, we all know that's also where we have this 200-week moving average, which we'll pull up here on the Poloniex chart. And if we get above that, we may start to see a massive rally for Ethereum. But if we don't get above that, then we have to watch for a reversal back down and a rejection. However, we know that EIP 1559 was announced. It changes the fundamentals. And so it's highly likely that we could see a breakout for Ethereum. I don't see why we wouldn't. And that all goes back to what's happening to the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, because it's a very different ball game here. You can see we have a bullish test of the 50-day moving average. It looks like it reached a destination based on this wick that this daily candle closed on yesterday. And notice how the body of this candle is maintaining right above this channel support. That's where the weekly open is, signifying that it is an important level, and it is the $2 trillion market cap, big even. Do I think we're just going to top out at the $2 trillion level? Not necessarily. I definitely think we're either going to see further upside or some more downside here. I don't think that we'll stick around a big even like 2 trillion. Apple's market cap is 2.24 trillion, for example, and so I don't think that there was any sort of coordinated efforts to get the cryptocurrency market just to $2 trillion in market cap. So I think that it's important to watch this big even. If we start to break down from 2 trillion, we do have the monthly open sitting right at that $1.75 trillion area, and that's also where the 50-day moving average is. But if we're above the weekly open, which is around that $2 trillion market cap area, then we can expect some more altcoins in the short to medium term to see some upside. And so that's a very positive thing. You can see here with others' dominance, a lot of people were getting bearish about it, but I continued and maintained my posture of bullishness here. And you can see we did break out of this flag already, and we have this weekly open up and above this major resistance area that dates back to 2017. You can see we tested it once here in 2020, we tested it in 2018, and so we're now way and above that. We had a garden variety market retest, and now we're seeing new highs with others' dominance, which is extremely positive. And we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're just kind of stalling out at this level, not much price action. And when we look at traditional markets, notice how we've been monitoring the DXY for quite some time. We do have this potential inverse head and shoulder pattern forming here on the daily chart. And so realize that we are now reaching the destination that we were talking about to confirm a potential reversal of the dollar. And this is an extremely important time right now, because we are testing this major area where we have the 100-day moving average, the 91.015 area, which you can see in 2017 to 2018. Once again, I'm using this to look at the correlations. That is exactly when we started to reverse, and it was also around this time frame. As soon as January came, that's when we started to see the DXY push back up, resulting in a bull market for the DXY. And so when we look at this chart and we notice where we're at right now, testing this 100-day moving average, the 91.015 area, and the 20-week moving average. And so this is a major level for the DXY. If this level breaks of 91.015, this could change the whole narrative, and that could indicate that we're going to see a lot more further upside for traditional markets, commodities, even real estate, of course, cryptocurrencies, because the dollar value coming down would, of course, increase the US dollar price of those assets. But if we start to see this with a bullish reversal, that could indicate the opposite, that we might start to see a slowdown in the appreciation of these assets like traditional markets, cryptocurrencies, real estate, and so forth. And so we want to monitor this huge moment right now. This is a huge deal, and we talked about this over the last 2 weeks. And we look at the S&P 500, you can see coming back to home base, similar to what we talked about. We now have this previous weekly open sitting at 4114, and that's looking at the S&P 500 e-futures mini contract. And so we are looking like we want to come back to home base right around that level. That's garden variety market behavior. We are far and away from the 50-day moving average. We want to monitor if we're going to break this level. I think that's extremely important for traditional markets, because if we do, it opens the door to the monthly open sitting right near that 50-day moving average, and that could indicate a domino effect where not only did Bitcoin come and I'm not going to say top out, but maybe see a temporary slowdown, but now we might see a temporary slowdown in traditional markets. So I think that this is a key level here at 4115 for the S&P 500. And then with gold, of course, we want to monitor this area. We're currently just flirting with this level. We're back above the 50-day moving average, and we are testing the resistance of this wedge that you can see failed once already for gold. And then we did see almost like this bottoming phase where we kind of capitulated and formed a double bottom, and we came back up to test this major resistance. If this breaks, that could indicate a push to the upside for precious metals, specifically for gold, which I'm sure silver and platinum and palladium and other metals will follow. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. I do want to give away one of my favorite books on investing, Principles by Ray Dalio. If you want to win this book, comment below and share this video and you'll have a chance to win. I'm going to pick about 5 winners. We have a couple videos to go back on here. So for this video, we said we were going to pick 2 winners. Let's do Mr. Harjaws, and we'll do Michael Acton. So send me a message on Instagram. The link is in the description below. For this video, we will pick, let's see, Luke Inman. And then for this video, we will pick Patrick Connery. Send me a message on Instagram. The link is in the description below. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. And until next time, snipers out.